Hi everyone, it's Robin here on the Good Place bench on sunny Amsterdamse Bos as part of the Outdoor Office Day 2025. Thanks for having us. It's amazing to have our bench here in the forest. And I'm here joined by Kayleigh, who is actually a forester as part of the gemeente Amsterdam, I think. A forester here in Amsterdamse Bos.
Yeah, that's right. I'm one of the 9 foresters at the moment.
Okay.
And I have a very particular job for that. There's no one else like me here. I'm actually one of the foresters who also does volunteer coordination, and I do it throughout the whole forest. And it actually began because I am a volunteer at a couple of nature organizations myself. And then eventually I thought, well, I could move things up and be a coordinator myself because
Okay.
I had some ideas about it. And then I started somewhere else, and then after that I became a coordinator here.
Wow. What does a forester do? I have no idea.
Bring it on.
Tell us.
So much. I have a very diverse job. First of all, I protect the forest in the broadest sense of it all. I protect people, I protect the animals, I protect the wildlife we have here, the trees and everything. If someone does a damage, then I'm one of the foresters who protects it. So I'm part of the police department as a BOA. So someone who does supervising in maintaining the whole forest of itself, and I do that with 8 other people, with 9 people at the moment. And then of course we try to bring some biodiversity into image. So we have a couple of people who are specialized in searching for different types of animals or plants or trees and so on. And I actually do that in a broader sense for volunteers. But we also have other volunteering jobs, such as with doing maintenance in the forest or doing excursions, going with children, teaching them about nature and the environment. So it's a very broad thing we have. But in the main part, as a forester, I keep it in check if everyone is keeping themselves in check. And beside that, I do the volunteering coordination.
Cool.
Yeah.
And where did your passion came from with nature or like forestry?
Well, that's interesting because many people who want to be a forester already thought of it when they were younger. I didn't. I was someone who was very interested in biology, but also in the arts. So actually, I started doing art direction. That's 2 studies I did that for. So actually, I was in the marketing and the advertising management business for almost 10 years. And then Corona came, and I thought, what am I doing with my life? I don't like sitting at the same desk for over a couple of years and doing the same thing over and over again. And also it was a very, how do you say that? Rival industry. So you wanted to work together with people, but it was mainly like checking in if someone isn't stealing your work. And that was horrible. So I loved the job, but I didn't like sitting at the same desk at the same square meters every day to do that. And then I started wondering what I wanted to do with my life after that. So I wanted to do something environmental or something which helps people in a broader sense. How do you say that? Maatschappelijk belang. For societal,
impact,
for societal impact. And then eventually I started doing, researching about my own home area. And I live in the dunes, so near the beach. And I have a very, very wonderful natural place where I live. And I thought, well, let's do excursions and let's learn about what is going on around my home. So that actually brought me to finding a forester myself.
Cool.
And I asked her, and it was on Texel, so on the island. And I asked her, "What are you doing as a forester?" And she told me like, "Well, I do so many things, but if you want to, you can join me tomorrow on my job." And I said, "Well, that would be wonderful." And I came along with her, and I found it so wonderful that what she was doing. She was doing trips with children, or was it like excursions with children. She was doing newspaper interviews. She was with farmers. She was talking about the future of birds on their land, and I thought it was so broad and wonderful. And then I asked her, "How do you become a forester?" Because I have no clue. And then she said, "Well, actually, it's a quite long job. You have to do a couple of studies for that as well." And I wasn't in the mood to start a study again.
No.
So I asked her, how do I become it quickly in some form that I can experience it? And then she said, "Well, actually, I'm leaving in 2 weeks. Do you want to have my job?" And that's how I became
No
a
way.
forester, yeah. So that's actually quite kind of crazy.
She was about to leave and you
Yeah,
took-
yeah,
took over.
yeah. I actually had a job interview, and actually I didn't became a job of I didn't became a forester on Texel, yeah, on Texel, but somewhere else. But I actually was, so how do you say that in English? A vliegende kiep, someone who does it all throughout the whole province.
Substitute, like stand-in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's actually what I did for
Wow.
almost 1.5 years, and it was wonderful. And then I thought I want to do it again.
And
Now
how did
I'm
you
here.
came to Amsterdam?
Actually,
I mean, how do you become like a forester in Amsterdam?
have you talked to Tom already or no? Okay. Well, Tom is a colleague of mine, and he does nature education for the forest. And I actually applied to that job, and then I told my whole story to my manager, and my manager said, "Well, maybe you could be a forester because you're actually looking for a forester in the future who can also work with volunteers. And we don't have a program for that yet, so maybe you want to work on that." And yeah, I love that. Yeah, I love working with people. I love talking to people. You can already. I love talking.
Sure.
So that job is perfect for me. Yeah.
Love it. I love. Thanks for sharing your story. That's really cool. That's really cool. I like that. I love these personal stories as well, and also these happy accidents. You know, like you.
Yeah.
You're
love
from a
Bob Ross.
happy accidents. There we go. But also, it's a different. Yeah, you just fall from one to another, and then
it's
now
natural
you're.
flow.
Yeah, the green looks good on you.
Thanks.
Thanks.
I have green eyes, so I hope it suits
Matching.
me, Yeah.
So then, even today, like the outdoor office day is very. Yeah, very important as well, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
Because how do you bring people in nature more?
Well, in a way, I was also brought into nature, but I brought my own self to nature. I want to inspire people by nature in some way, and the way I was inspired by it in the beginning, when I thought of it being actually a job that suited for me, was just finding peace. And I didn't have peace at the previous jobs I had. And if you incorporate nature as part of your job, even if it's just for a little while, not every day, but you can see and feel what the influence is of that piece into your work, and also find purpose more. And I think that that's the main thing I want to bring people as well, even if it's for a little moment. With excursions, I always tell my story, my background, how I became a forester, as I told you. And many people are actually, what I love about that is people are wondering themselves about their own thing that they're doing, and think about, wow, maybe I could do something that gives me peace or gives me a purpose. And that's what I love, that it makes people think about what they're doing.
Or become a forester themselves.
Maybe. I mean, I think the world would be a better place if we all became a little bit of a forester. So yeah, what do you think?
I'm intrigued. I never envisioned myself being a forester, but I think it also has to do with knowledge, right? That if you know more about
The environment.
the environment, the diversity,
Yeah.
the who would all live in a forest like Amsterdamse Bos? I think you're more conscious about
Yeah. The
the
surroundings.
where you step into.
Yeah, definitely. And what I also think it's important because there are so many, you don't even see it, but there are so many things around you. And one of the things I found most intriguing of all in nature is mycelium. Do you know what mycelium is?
Mycelium.
Mycelium in Dutch. It's a network of fungi underneath the ground. And it's so diverse, we cannot see it with our eyes, but we can see it with a microscope, and we can tell by the way trees, for instance, are behaving. Because throughout mycelium, many natural things are communicating. So if, for instance, one tree is being attacked by some kind of insect, then it lets other trees know throughout the mycelium underneath the ground. And the other trees can make some kind of some kind of thing throughout their DNA that they're spreading to prepare for the attack that can happen because they're communicating throughout
And
it.
it can warn them.
Yeah. And that's one of the things, even with also exchanging nutrients through the mycelium as well. It's wonderful. And I think not even 1% of the whole population of the world knows this. And I think that's one of the things that we have to keep in mind as well, because we're all connected in a way. And if we care more about one another and also about the environment and about nature, then I think the world will be a better place. It's as simple as that. But you should take the time and the effort to do it. And that's something that can start within. Yeah,
And we also can take inspiration from nature,
definitely.
because a lot of things I have already thought of. Yeah.
You also have a lot of nature-based solutions. So, for instance, one of the things, actually, when I was an art director back in the day in my previous life, I actually made a refugee home based on honeycombs. Honeycombs are one of the most stable and strong structures in nature, and that's something you take from nature because you know, animals are also evolving, and they're making something that's just so working so well, and also we can apply that in our day-to-day work or in solutions for instance, these kind of things. And I made a refugee home, just a little bit of inside information, where these honeycombs are actually little rooms for people who are refugees, and they are stapled upon one another and made from recycled plastic. So that's one of the things I actually came up with because of nature solutions. Yeah. So those kinds of things, even with every little thing, I could grab a nettle behind us and tell you something that's also a solution for that natural kind of plant that defends himself by stinging you, for you not to pluck it. But it's also edible, just saying.
I've heard about that.
Yeah.
You
and
can
I also,
even make fabric of it.
yeah, it's actually way better fabric than cotton. So, but why are we not using it? It's just a change. I think in some time the world will change, and we'll think of better ways for solutions, and think of how to keep each other in check as well. Yeah, and care for one another.
Yeah, very nice. I mean, I'm sitting here, okay, with sustainable leaders, right? And you in your new, it's more than a job, in your new passion.
It definitely is.
Yeah. How would you define your mission, your personal mission?
Actually, I don't have a mission. It's just going with the flow because my life taught me that throughout the years. Well, even with my personal life, I actually lost my parents throughout my life. My dad when I was 7 and my mom last year. And it's okay. But I learned a lot from them, and also with going with the flow, and that you cannot prepare for life, and you don't have any control over your life. So that's one of the things I have in life, to learn to let go and go with the flow. It's so quirky, but it's true.
Perhaps that's also what nature is.
Yeah, it definitely is. I think if just a very outrageous idea, but if people go distinct at some point, then nature will take over eventually. Even if the whole world goes dark, then I think nature will take over the world eventually. And that's totally fine. I mean, it brings us a lot of peace. It brings us a lot of joy. I mean, I hope you're feeling happy when you're sitting here with some sun rays between the leaves of the trees, and enjoying some chitter chatter in the background, and also the birds. So I think that's happiness. Yeah.
Is that what a good place is, Kayleigh?
A good place is where you feel home. No, I'm gonna stop with this.
Okay, retry.
Yeah. No, a good place
Take
is
two.
a good place is where you feel at peace. Yeah, and where you feel appreciated and loved, and also feel the need to give it to others. Yeah, because I think a lot of people in the world are hurt, and they hurt others. So I think if you feel you're being loved, or if you're feeling you're being loved or you're being appreciated and you feel at peace, then I think you can also bring that to other people. Yeah.
Thank you, Kayleigh, for your time. I'm gonna definitely share the link to the excursions below, so more people start to join you on those excursions.
Or volunteering.
Or volunteer, yeah. Roll up their sleeves or volunteering in nature here in the Amsterdamse Bos forest. And thanks for having us on the bench here. And
Beautiful bench.
can you say that again?
Beautiful bench.
It's on record now. Thanks again. Dankjewel. And for everyone watching, I hope you enjoyed Kayleigh's story. I definitely did. And looking forward to our next benchie. And all the best here from Outdoor Office Day. Go outside and work. Bye.